We do this?
Let's do this.
Ready. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Itago. If you're new here, for sure you're very welcome. If you're a returning subscriber or you just watching my videos, you're very welcome too. Of course, if you're not subscribed, hit that button, hit the like, hit notification, hit everything except the dislike button. Anyway, today on this third episode, oh my gosh, it's the third episode of things you won't hear in church or things you might hear in church. Today we will talk about the misconceptions that we had about Christianity before we became Christians. I think you guys also should understand. I don't know about you, Belz, but I have grown up in church. I was born in church, basically. Okay, not like born in church per se, but it's like, you know what I'm saying. It's like I went to church at like week 1. So today we will talk about that. What was that thing or those things that were making you sit and be like, Ati God, Asha, diga hota?
No, not for me.
Yeah. Have you been raised in church?
Yeah, I've been raised in church, but I didn't like church. I honestly cannot say that I loved church, but it was alright. You know, church was like a
school.
Yeah, like it's cool. Church, like for me, was that place where you see your friends. That place where you, I don't know, you just sing a few fast songs and then you know the next one is a slow one. And then you pray like those more.
And then there's this man who's talking over
there.
there.
He's talking and then he has 5 points. And then sometimes I add my 6th because I think maybe he didn't want to add his 6th point. I just know I was raised in a church where there was decorum. Like it was about hymns. It was about, you know, like there was such a procedure. Like I would know, okay, that one is standing up because they need to give a testimony. That one is standing up because we need to do 2 hymn songs, one in Kiswahili and one in English. Yeah. So
wow. I haven't been to such a church, except for my high school, Catholic school. Oh, by the way, behind the camera is my best friend, Angela. If you can hear her laughing at the back, Angie, say hi.
Hi, people.
Yeah, that's hi. She's a little bit shy today, but you should watch our video where she does a lot of sit-ups.
Wow.
Yeah, so for me, most of the churches that I went to were actually like very
vigorous
out there.
Let
me tell you, I grew up in Winners Chapel.
Hey,
I'm telling you,
you're a winner.
The Nigerians.
You have to win in life.
Hey, why do you think I like dancing in church? I learned it young. Yeah, and I think at some point we had tried to go to Salvation Army and we'd march on the road. Stop laughing.
You have been through a lot.
At some point, there's this guy. There's this church we went to. I remember that church because I was traumatized. And I think it was like in Jericho or Jerusalem or something, and we're living on this other side in Set Light. So we go to this church like early in the morning. By the way, first of all, that church like service goes on, you know, as a kid it feels like even if it's 8 to 11 it feels like forever. That church, how long it was, I used to carry lunch because it will go on. I used to carry lunch, and then this is so when it's time to pray, the pastor starts saying, mapepo ya kupenda nini watu wanasema toka, mapepo ya nini toka.
Hey, oh my
just
God.
Like, what is going on?
Are you okay?
I'm not okay.
I'm
How
sorry.
many churches are there?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but I'm here. I am well. I bless the Lord. So I'm going to start with the misconceptions that I had having gone through all those churches about Christianity, because at some point I was just like, you know, this thing doesn't make sense to me anymore. One of the things that I was very focused on is that Christianity is about do this well, don't do this.
Yeah.
So for me, I would make sure that I go to church on Sunday. Try and go for a Friday fellowship with friends. Don't do bad stuff, like don't badmouth people, don't gossip, you know. I mean, these things are like naturally, yes, if you're a Christian, ideally you should not be doing that. But if that's your focus of Christianity, then it makes your not relationship with God, but it's about works.
Yeah, that's true.
And I've said this before, is when Christianity is about works, it becomes frustrating when you're not getting your check mark. You know, because at some point I was not going to church every Sunday, so I'm a bad Christian.
Yeah. So for me, I think like I just didn't like the way church looked on people. So like I grew up thinking, oh, you know, if they're a Christian, then why are they lying? Why are they drinking on Friday? So like I was always confused, like, okay, should I be doing that? You know, like so I didn't understand what it was about. Then I decided, you know what, let me just turn up. Because I don't feel this thing where I turn up and then I go to church. It doesn't sit right with me. So I decided, you know what, I might as well turn up, and then we'll meet halfway. And met me.
Me, I used to turn up, wake up in the morning, go to church, because checkbox has to be checked. I need to have gone to church, so I'm still a good Christian because I went to church. Okay, guys. I like what you said. So I'm still on that strand of church didn't look good on people. Christians, some Christians are boring.
They bore me, Lord.
Lord, your people bore me. Your people bore me. It's like, I don't know.
Here's the thing though. I feel like, and I'm just gonna be real, I'm gonna keep it 100. I feel like sometimes, like when you're a Christian, there's so much judgment to you. You know? Like it feels like I always had this thing that when somebody tells me, oh, you sound deep, I take it personally. And then it got to me, I'm not telling you sound shallow. You know, so the thing is, if you want to be deep, just be deep. If you want to be shallow, just be shallow. There's no place like, have you ever had something like, oh, you know, the ocean is too deep for the fish, and that river is just too small. You know, like they're just coexisting differently. So I got to a point where I appreciate the fact that I'm trying to pursue my depth with God, and if that's not your thing, I appreciate it as well, but don't come at me. You know, because people be like, oh, you're too spiritual, you're too deep, oh, you're too this. But in the corporate, you never run up to someone and like, oh, you earn a lot, oh my god,
you earn too much.
You earn too much. But
you're too smart
you're too smart for this job. Like it's a decision that somebody just puts themselves into, like, I want to pursue God and the depth of it, you know, and I just want to be in that space. So I don't think I think we judge too much, even internally as Christians, and we forget that this thing is a journey. Like, I choose my journey, you choose your journey. If you don't want to be deep, girl, that's your own. If I feel like I want to be deep, then I want to pursue depth.
Yeah, that's true. I like that. And I think also it's just a mere fact, because there's a certain way that we've defined fun, or the world has defined fun, that if you're not doing that, then are you having fun? Like, your life is boring, you know. Boring. So for me, I was just like, you mean I cannot turn up anymore? Lord. Okay, I didn't say Lord, but like, man, I can't.
That's true.
You know, but I think one of the things is that when I surrounded myself with amazing people like Angie, like Belz here, like other friends that I've made, here, manze, I've been having too much fun.
It's not even legal.
It's not legal.
It's not legal.
Not.
I
like,
know.
I feel like I've explored so much. I also think, like, if let's say someone define, not you of course, if someone defines fun as just like going out to party, it limits how you can even explore other things. Because now I realize that there's a lot of things that we do around here, like we go to the park, chill there, or like just go and explore other places. There are so many things that I've been able to do that now I'm able even to know people in a
in
deeper
a
way
deeper sense.
and to understand them more, because our interaction is actually very sober, first of all.
Yeah.
So whatever you're telling me
Yeah.
is real,
Yeah.
you know, or that is if you're trying to be real with me.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just like, oh, Itago, I love you, I love you so much, but like you don't really love me. So it has opened me up to relationships, to be able to know people better, just not to define fun in one way.
Yeah. And then like the moment I realized that, you know, I could be my own fun, first of all, and that I could bring the life into this thing, and there's so many things you can do.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be tipsy to be, you know, to have fun. Just having coffee, learning about people, laughing, driving around, just doing stuff, Bible studies. I mean, there's so much fun in the house of God. I kid you not. The kind of life that I have as a Christian is so much fun. I wouldn't trade it for any other.
Yeah.
The kind of friends that I have in my Christian circle, I wouldn't trade them. I wouldn't even pray them into my life.
I don't think she saved you, but okay.
I'm telling you, he will win the show. Goodness.
I think for me, another misconception that I had is that God speaks to those people in the front there,
At the pews.
the holy ones.
Yeah.
He would not even dare to speak to me, mere old me, or young me.
You're young, you.
Very young me.
Yeah.
He cannot speak to someone like me, basically. I think that was like one of the biggest misconceptions. It would just make me not be able to let myself experience a deeper relationship with God, because I just thought he cannot speak to me.
Yeah.
So if he cannot speak to me, then it does not make sense for me to try and understand
just have
and
a
engage with him, or you know, because anyway, relationships are made from conversation. You know me, I get to know you, but then I'm not allowing myself to know you, and you're trying to let me know you. So it was like I could not. Yeah, God cannot speak to me. Yeah, and I know a lot of times we think of God speaking to someone as like, oh, Belinda,
Here is your father.
ye,
I am your leader.
thee,
Wow.
thou,
Thou art speaketh at the mountain. Thou calleth you
I
3
call
times.
you, you know, it's, but like, I have just had amazing moments of conversation with my father, where it's thoughts, like I'm thinking this and then another thought comes to me, but then this thought, it's like I'm having a conversation with my thoughts, but really it's not me talking to myself. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm not talking to myself in my head, but it's like I'm communing with my father. And sometimes I think one of the things that God has been trying to show me is that I speak to you even in your thoughts, because I've had thoughts, maybe I should do this, and then I'm like, but that doesn't even make sense. Why would I do that? And then I do it. Let's say I do it to someone, and they're like, oh my gosh, Itago, this is exactly what I needed to hear right now. But if I had thought those are just like my random thoughts, or like that's stupid, Itago, don't do it, I would not have been able to impact someone's life.
A misconception that I had was that God is like a prefect.
Can you tell me about it?
I always felt like God is just up there and he's just trying to do his things.
He's waiting.
He's waiting for me to mess up so that he punishes me.
Noisemakers.
Yeah, like I always thought he had this black box for my mistakes. Like I legit felt like I had to do so many things to impress God. Like I had to talk. I couldn't even like approach God if I was mad at something. It always felt like, oh, but if I'm unsatisfied, then I feel like, oh, maybe I'm complaining too much or I'm saying too much. But then when I started learning that this thing is a relationship, there is nothing off the limits. It feels like if I'm having a bad day, I want to know, I want to let God know that my day did not work out.
Like this day sucks.
This day sucks, and it's okay that I can tell him that. And I'm not complaining, I'm just sharing as a relational point.
This is how I feel.
It's God sees to be like a master, like somebody who expects expected me to do this and do that, and if I don't do this then I get this punishment. Because I used to live my life like on eggshells. Like I used to be like, oh my god, this is such a big mistake, or this is such a setback. And then now looking back, I'm like, oh my god, you know, God is so faithful that he lets us see how kind and how good he is. That even when you make mistakes, he's like a father. It's like, it's alright, collect yourself, let's work through this, and I want to see you become a better person. And there are no punishments in heaven, for crying out loud. It's just a nice father who is out there to look out for us.
And I think just also to speak to that, one thing that I thought was, to be Christian you have to be perfect. And I know a lot of people, especially guys who maybe like me at some point, you're in that crossroad point where you're like, I feel like I'm not holy enough. Like like church people are like holy of holy, like thou of thouest, you know. But me, I'm just thine.
You have to approach them with holy water.
You're like, I bow before you, sister Itago. You know. But I've come to understand that Christians are the most imperfect people on earth. And it's okay. Because there's one thing that at least I know the people who I've surrounded myself with, is that we understand that in our imperfections we let God to perfect us. Like, will I be caught gossiping sometimes? Yes. Is it wrong to gossip? Yes. But guess what? The Holy Spirit will be like, Itago, are you sure this person you're talking about right now would be okay if they were seated here listening to you say that? And no, it just checks you, but not like, oh, in a condemning way, but out of love. It doesn't mean that we are perfect in what we do. We sin all the time, whatever you define sin to be. But you know, but it just means that we can admit that we need help.
Tithe for me is not works, it's more of a love affair. You need to use your head even in church.
Dang, girl.